Hello everyone, how y'all doing? I'm in the workshop again. As you can see, you see a little bit of my tools in the background. It's the one place in the house that I really have started to enjoy being. You know, I love the whole house, especially since it's a new house that my dad and I just moved into. But the garage is sort of my domain. It's where I feel comfortable making videos. You know, I can sit here and talk to the camera uninterrupted and just be myself, I think. So the other day I made a video talking about some of my epoxy mistakes, and I said a phrase that was crush the can't, but I really didn't explain what that was. I said a few little words about it, but crushing the can't is really it's a mental attitude that you take. I'm not saying crush the can't is in like, I'm gonna absolutely crush this, going up in this airplane and skydiving without a parachute. You can't crush that can't. It's gonna happen. You're gonna fall out of that airplane and go splat on the ground and either mess yourself up pretty bad or die even. So, you know, that's a given. You can't do that because of the laws of gravity, you know. And of course there's other things. There's governmental laws. You can't go out and murder. You can't crush the can't on that. You can't just say, hey, I'm gonna be, chaotic evil and just go and murder everybody. That doesn't work. There's laws against that, you know. So what I'm saying in crush the can't is not going out and breaking governmental laws or breaking the laws of physics and gravity and such. What I'm saying is crushing the can't is crushing the ego that you have. And I say you and me and everybody, because in some aspects everybody has ego, and ego pretty much tells you what you can and can't do. It differs from your conscience, which tells you, if trained correctly, what is right and wrong. So can't says, oh, I can't do this. Say for instance, I can't paint this painting. Well, why can't you paint the painting? Is it because you don't have the right brushes? Is it because you don't have the right paint? You know, is it the fact that you don't know how to do it? Have you watched enough videos? So crushing the can't is keeping that ego in check, and doing that, keeping that ego in check. The best way, in my opinion, of course this is only my opinion, is to educate yourself. Don't be stupid. Don't be an idiot. You know, don't go through life just, you know, having people say, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that, or even your own ego telling you you can and can't do stuff. You know, you have to take the initiative. You have to educate yourself. You have to gain the experience. You know, if it's, you know, something that you want to try that's new. You know, you want to go out of your comfort zone, and that can't is holding you back. I can't do this. I have apprehension. I have anxiety about it. Then you have to work that out in your own mind. You have to say, I can do this. I will do this. So my dad is 72 years old, and you know, he's got some health problems. And when I was growing up, prior to all of his health problems, you know, he used to tell me something that has stuck with me, and I'll be 40 years old next year, actually less than 6 months, and I still keep it fresh in my mind. And that saying was, can't never did anything, but trying will. So if you constantly say you can't do this, you'll never get anything accomplished. You'll be stagnant in life. You'll just go through life, and life won't be an adventure. And that's what life really is. It's, you know, life is meant to be adventurous. It's meant to be fulfilling, but if you only stay in your little shell and you never break out of that, then your life is not going to be fulfilling. And in my opinion, as a Christian, again, this is my opinion, God created us to have a fulfilling life. And so crushing the can't is working things out in your own mind. Like I said, it's a psychological philosophy. And if you continue to let those can'ts just stay in place, and you never do anything to break those barriers and to crush the can't, then you'll never fulfill your full potential as a person. And I believe that people are so diverse, and I'm not talking about just racial diversity or ethnic diversity. I'm talking about people are diverse in the fact that whatever they put their mind to, they can do. Look at the Wright brothers. 100 years ago, they were in North Carolina, in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and they're like, we want to design an airplane that will fly. And if they had let their can'ts hold them back, that they didn't crush the can't, then we wouldn't have airplanes. Well, I can't say that we wouldn't. Somebody else probably would have come up with the working airplane and developed it, but the Wright brothers wouldn't have been known for the airplane and for, having, I believe it was like 4 seconds worth of flight. I might be off on that a little bit. It's been a little while since I've gone and read up on the Wright brothers. So if they had never tried, they wouldn't have known their potential. They wouldn't have known that they could succeed at that. And now, look, we can fly to just about anywhere here in the United States in the span of maybe about 4 or 5 hours. You can go overseas. You can hop a plane and go to New York, and hop another plane and go across the Atlantic, and you're in London in the same day, or you're in Paris in the same day. You go a little bit further, you go out west, and you hop a plane there, and you take a little bit longer flight, and you're in Sydney Harbor, sightseeing the Opera House the next day. So if the Wright brothers had not crushed the can't, we wouldn't be able to do any of that. And so that's where I say that people are so diverse that there are people like Picasso as a painter, and his style was so diverse and so different from, say, Van Gogh or Rembrandt or even Jackson Pollock. Those guys each were diverse in their own form of artwork, in their own form of painting, that we can years later appreciate their works of art. Either through seeing it in a museum or seeing a picture of it online. So that diversity is something that should fuel us and not hold us back. We shouldn't say, well, I can't do this because everybody else is doing it. Well, yeah, so what? Everybody else is doing it. Maybe there's 100,000 people that are making soap, 100,000 people that are making river tables, or 100,000 people that are writing novels, or coming up with the next greatest app for Android or iPhone. So you have to go and set yourself above and beyond what everybody else is doing, and crushing the can't plays into that. If you completely crush those negative, because can't is a negative, cannot. It has a negative connotation. So if you get rid of that and you just don't let it stand in your way, then you have the potential to be anything that you want to be an awesome writer, to be an awesome singer, an awesome painter, to be awesome at whatever you put your mind to. And, the same thing goes to, I can't change jobs. Why can't you change jobs? Well, maybe you need to go and have better skills. Maybe you need to learn a new skill. Maybe you like the company that you're working for and you want to move up in that company, and you need to have the skill set to do that. Maybe that's going to take time and dedication on your part to be able to elevate yourself. Or maybe you want to change professions altogether. Maybe, you do a profession that maybe you work construction. Maybe you work, as a roofer or a drywaller or, an electrician, and it's physically hard on you, or it's even mentally hard on you, because construction work is a very difficult trade to be in. So, you have to look at it and it's like, okay, well, I want to change this. I want to change my life. I want to do something different. Well, what's holding you back? You have to evaluate that, and you have to say, okay, well, this is holding me back. Well, I know that if I learn these new skills, that I can stop the construction trade or find a better job or do whatever it is your mind has been made up to do. So I actually just coined the phrase last night in the video that I made of crushing the can't, but I look back at it and I've realistically been doing this for over a year and a half, and I can pretty much pinpoint, actually probably a little bit longer than that, probably about 2 years now, and I can pinpoint the events that led me to that. And it was the fact that I went through a really rough patch from like 2006 to 2015. That 9-year period was a really rough period. At one point I was almost homeless. If it wasn't for my mother, I pretty much would have been homeless. After that, I was working, and I had a job that I pretty much liked. It had its good days and bad days, but I was hurt on the job and wasn't able to go back due to the injury. And a whole spiral of things started there. And that was, when I got hurt was about the middle of that 9-year period. It was in 2010. And, so I wasn't working. Some things happened to Dad where, he started to have health problems. And, he was on Social Security, and, Dad and I was living with him, and we basically were living on about $1,000 a month, and I really have no idea how we were doing it. It was tough. We were in a bad situation. We were on food stamps, only getting about $150, $200 maybe a month worth of food. So we ate a lot of peanut butter and jelly and a lot of ramen. Because that's what we could afford, and that was unfortunate. And so the point to where I started to crush the can't 2 years ago was the fact that the house that we were living in, it was a mobile home, in a mobile home park. The house was old, starting to have some problems, and I just didn't have the money to fix what was going on with it. And a part of it was the roof leaking. I really wanted to try to put a new roof on there, but I didn't have the financial means to do it. And I was having some problems with the floor. The floors were bad, and it just was. It needed, the house needed, and hopefully the house does have somebody, because I sold it about a month ago. Hopefully, the people that have moved into it, they have the means and the ability to get that stuff done. I'm basing that on what they told me. So hopefully they're, going to be able to get those things fixed. And so for me, it was my can't was I can't move out of this house. I can't get a better house. I can't go out and work because I have to take care of Dad. Plus, I'm limited in what I can actually do, because of that work injury that I mentioned earlier. So for me, it's like, okay, what can I do, not just for myself, but primarily for my dad as his caregiver, to get him into a better house, to get him into a place where he can enjoy the house and, not have a leaking roof and, not have bad neighbors and whatnot. And so I began to just educate myself. I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to go and take advantage of the things that he qualifies for through the Veterans Administration, through the Veterans Affairs. And, it took me a year and a half from the time I started working on that until the time that we bought our house was just about 18 months, maybe 19 months. And so I was determined, I was dogged in my pursuit of it because I wanted a better place for my dad, and I wanted a better place for myself where I can do the epoxy woodworking and have a shop, where I can, do artwork and be expressive. And I didn't let the can'ts stop me. And going forward, I'm not going to let a can't stop me. I'm going to bust through it like the Kool-Aid Man, be like, oh yeah, and just not let that be a barrier to me. Now, I'm not going to go about it full-heartedly or even bullheaded. I'm going to take my time and educate myself and learn how to do things and do them in a manner that's smart and safe, and also in a way that hopefully it wouldn't offend anybody else. I don't do actions that offend people. I do know that I can be the type of person that you either love or hate, and there's really no in between. And I've known that for a long time, because I have a mindset of I see things one way, and I want to go about those things in that manner. It's not so much that I'm stubborn or whatnot. It's just that I take the time and evaluate a situation, and I formulate a plan, and then I go about doing that plan. And so it's not always the best way of doing things. I don't do them correct every time, and that's part of being human. You're not going to do everything the right way every time, at least not for a good while. I think eventually humanity will get to that point. I don't think it's going to be next year. I think it's going to be down the road a good ways. But it all depends on your mindset, and you have to willingly adopt the mindset of crushing the can't and just saying, I can do this, I will do this, because you never know if you can do a thing unless you make the efforts and try. And that's really what it's all about in becoming a better person. So going forward, just educate yourself. Don't be an idiot. Don't be stupid about things. You know, and that's really the biggest and best way to crush the cant. And you know, that's what the philosophy is really about. So I'm going to go back to crushing the cant. Right now, I'm going to go and build a form for my epoxy river table, something that a few months ago I'm like, I can't do that. So now I'm like, hey, I can do that. I will do that. So you know, keep that in mind. You got any comments, just put them in the remarks down below. You know, click the subscribe button too, you know, and I'll that way you're notified when I put up new videos. You know, I'm going to try to talk about a range of different things, you know, but you know, more to come. So talk to you guys later and have fun.